spokesperson, her desk, said she was on the side of the protesters. Nobody needs this law. Everyone who has voted for this law has violated the Constitution, she said. In sports story, Nigerians D Tigers ranked best team in Africa. The World Basketball Governing Body, FIBA, has rated Nigerian basketball national team, D Tigers, as the best basketball team in Africa. The latest FIBA ranking came after the D Tigers failed to qualify for the 2023 FIBA World Cup, which will be hosted by the Philippines, Japan, and Indonesia. The D Tigers are the top basketball playing country in Africa and are presently ranked 19th in the world with 461.4 points, according to this recent FIBA rankings. Tunisia is rated second, Senegal is rated third, Angola is rated fourth best country in Africa. Ivory Coast, who qualified for the World Cup, is now rated sixth in Africa and 42nd internationally. In entertainment, Funke Akindele reacts to Ruth Kadri's endorsement. Nollywood actress cum politician Funke Akindele has extended gratitude to her colleague Ruth Kadri Ezurika after she publicly pledged to support her political bid as the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos. Funke received very little support from her colleagues since her emergence as the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos. Funke Akindele's colleagues have been politically divided over their support for preferred presidential and governorship candidates. However, Ruth Kadri threw her weight behind Jennifer's Diary producer. She listed her reasons for supporting Funke, noting that the latter is smart and hardworking. Thanks for watching. Do have a great day ahead.
It's just 5 days to go to the 2023 Presidential and National Assembly elections. Of course, many Nigerians are anticipating that lawful day, that wonderful day, that historic day when they will go to the polls and elect a new leader for the Federal Republic of Nigeria to steer the ship of this country for the next 4 years. But of course, this hasn't come with its attendant challenges, as there are many challenges here and there that continues to throw in doubt whether the 25th of February is a reality or not. Of course, one of the major issues are talking about the Naira swap, and all of that still continues to exist. But in spite of this, Nigerians are quite optimistic, and I'm sure very ready from our observation here that indeed 25th February is a day of destiny for the Nigerian people. But all of these challenges exist, and here in the FCT, we are looking at what are the major challenges and what are the determining factors for electing a leader in Nigeria from the perspective of the FCT. And of course, to have that conversation, I have been joined by someone whom I'll get to introduce to you right after this break. Welcome to Politics Alive, reaching you from Alive Television. I am Olubinga George. Welcome back. Now, looking at the 2023 elections, looking at the role of youth and factors that will determine how FCT residents will vote in the 2023 elections, I have been joined by our president. I call him our president because I'm president of the Abuja Resident Youth Association, Ambassador Akoshile Mukhtar. Don't forget, he's also the vice president of the Nigerian National Youth Council of Nigeria. So a double honor right here in the studios to look at it from the youth perspective and the Abuja resident perspective. It's good to have you join me, Ambassador.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having us.
All right, let's go straight to the point. February 25 is here. I'd like to ask from your own perspective. A lot of people are doubtful. I spoke to some persons this morning, and they said as of this moment, they are not even sure if we will have an election. Will there be an election on the 25th of February?
The INEC, who are saddled with the responsibility of conducting an election, has came out to say there will be an election. Mr. President has also assured Nigerians that there will be elections. Our young people, we had also sat and issued press statement to tell our young people that there will be election, that people should just go by their normal activities and rest assured that the crisis and the eventualities that we are ongoing seeing currently will be overcome and there will be election.
All right, that sounds like a lot of hope.
Yeah.
All right, but you quite agree with me that there are so many challenges where election is concerned. For the purpose of this conversation, we would narrow it to Abuja residents, to residents of the FCT in this conversation. A lot of factors determine why people vote or who people vote for in elections. And one of the major factors that we have seen so far in the trajectory of Nigeria's elections is ethnicity and regionalism. When we talk about this, Abuja and the FCT is a very strategic place, being the nation's federal capital territory. But we also look at it from where it stands, where regionalism is concerned. It happens to be in the northern region. It happens to be one of the three geopolitical zones that we're talking about, the north central region. So a lot of people say, well, Abuja is no man's land. And I've heard many residents say Abuja is not no man's land. Abuja belongs to some people. I'd like to get your perspective from there, where ethnicity and regionalism is concerned. In these elections, we have major stakeholders two of the major stakeholders happen to come from the northern part. We have Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who comes from the northeast. We have Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, who comes from the northwest in Kano. And going by, the normal trajectory of Nigerians voting a person that is from their tribe, from their region, do you see the northern candidates having an edge over other candidates in this election for FCT residents?
Well, thank you again. When you talk about the analysis of election, it has to be based on individuals and not a general perception or perspective. The candidates that you have mentioned, those from the north, and Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, I don't know why you didn't mention him from the south. We also have Peter Obi.
I didn't mention him because I'm going there. I said Abuja happens to be in the north central, which is part of the north. Okay. So I'm asking if those candidates from the north have an edge because they are from the north and following the Nigeria's voting patterns of always wanting to vote for somebody that is from their region or ethnic divide.
Okay, now I get, when I become president, I will do them for you. Holistically, we will go for such a person.
Okay,
so it's not about I'm from the south, I'm from the north. It is about what you have to bargain with in the best truthfulness of your conscience.
Okay, so you mean to say that regionalism, ethnicity have no place within the FCT where voting is concerned?
At all, because FCT is diverse. We have people from the north, we have people from the south, we have people from all walks of life staying and residing in Abuja. So if you say you are from the northwest, you have your candidate. If you say you are from the northeast, you have your candidate. If you say from anywhere, you have your candidate. But the indices that makes us to now choose are what I have told you. Who will come to FCT to better the lives of Abuja? So Abuja will not collapse. Influx every day. People are coming to seek better lives in Abuja, but they are not improving upon the amenities that it's already there, social amenities and the rest. So we want a president that will be concerned about the development of the capital city. That is just what we think.
A lot of people do say, in private conversations that I've had now, do say that well, if Abuja has some of the demands that it's making, like the mayoral status and all of that there may be a clash of power because Abuja is a federal capital territory. And hence, has the federal capital apparatus in its management. So maybe I should get your thoughts on that.
Well,
do you think there will be a clash of power?
I don't know what you mean by clash of power, because there's always a constitution that is a guiding principle for what everybody does. And if any of what I have said is supposed or is to be implemented, there will be constitution that is guiding the principle and the executions of those segments of the separations of power. When you come about speaking about Abuja people are less privileged. For instance, yes, thank you for asking how. For instance, in Abuja, how many indigenous people do you even see that can even say I am donating 100 vehicles for campaign? I am donating school uniform for less privileged students in school. They don't have that capacity because they are not in positions. They are not elected into positions. They have only one senator. How many can that senator cater for? They don't have representation in the federal cabinet. They don't have representation in the federal cabinet. So if you don't have representation in federal cabinet, you don't have a minister. How many director generals appointment do they have? How many ambassadors do they have from here that is representing them? How many young people do they have in government or in governance? So when you talk about Abuja people should just be careful with people who come from Abuja. I'm a Muslim. You are my friend, you are a Christian. And that does not in any way affect our relationship. That does not in any way, maybe when we make money, we don't agree on sharing formula. So if someone is a Christian and is having a Christian running mate, I do not believe, as we speak, Khan has not come out to say this is where we are going.
But Khan initially kicked against it.
Yes.
That's part of the reason why this conversation is coming on board. Because Khan initially kicked against it and said it is, not putting the diversity of the Nigerian
let me tell you what I believe Khan was doing those periods. Those periods are in the initial stage. Khan was just advising. They were just putting it straight. So it will not be as if Khan is a conglomerate, is a global body of Christians association. And if you have a parental, or what do you put, a parental replicate of someone who says something and they keep quiet, it will be as if they are not doing anything. It is not meant to say can't believe that Muslim ticket will not work or Christian ticket will not work. Khan is just giving an opinion that how do you think if you do it like this, it could be better off or thereabout. So Khan is not saying if you do Muslim ticket, we'll ask Christian not to vote. Or Muslim Council for Islamic Affairs is not coming to say if you have Christian ticket, we'll ask Muslim not to vote. They are just coming to say in the best interest to allow all other religious belief to also have equal presentation. Why don't you? But if a party is now saying it doesn't matter, it means it doesn't matter. If a party is coming to say it doesn't matter, if at least you could be a Muslim and you won't allow the Christians to have freedom of expression and every other thing. That it's just about maturity. We hope that Nigeria will be matured to a point where we will just forget about is a Christian, is a Muslim, is a pagan, is a Fulani. Recently I saw people coming to say because they have cow in the 200 naira, that was why Mr. President recirculates the 200 naira into. Do you understand? So we should have matured beyond all this sentimental propaganda to make sure that our candidate gets way. No, for me, I believe what we should be thinking about is how do we get it right as a nation.
All right. I hope the choices on Saturday will determine that.
Yes, of course.
All right. Now let's move forward and look at one other thing that have sort of formed a disruption, in voting patterns in the country. So before 2015, we've had a strict dominant party in the country until President Muhammadu Buhari broke that pattern. But that is generally now. But when you come to the FCT, you would realize that it's hardly been broken because the FCT, have pandered toward a party more than the other. We've had the senator, for example, who have represented the people and is still in contest, for the 2023 term. So I want you to tell us the emergence of new entrants like Peter Obi and how it's affecting and attracting followership across board. How exactly is this going to impact, on voting choices in the FCT?
No, yeah, when we talk about voting choices, I always advise people to be sincere when they talk about who they want to vote for. If you think, apart from being going into religion sentiment or tribal sentiment, for instance, I listened to news and I was some of my friends who were in the APC followed some things that the PDP did recently. When they went to the Apple settlement, people who were from the southeastern part were like, "Oh, we'll vote Obi," they're just chanting Obi. But when it comes to Senate, they don't want the Ireti, they want Aduda. But this Ireti, is it because it's not from the southeast? But it's your labor. Are you put? That means they are not voting for party. They are voting for individuals. You understand? But if you think you want to vote for the Labour Party, which you believe, okay, you are tired of the PDP, you are tired of the APC, now you want a new generational party, which everybody believes is younger, is new, the people who are driving it could be more sincere, then you go for Obi, then go for the Ireti, who is the Senate candidate, then come down like that. But if you are now saying you are going for Obi and you are now coming to the Senate and picking Aduda, then you are getting it wrong. So what we are trying to say is that beyond any of this, go for people, party, candidates that you think can be better, like Zad, who is the senatorial candidate for the APC. I am close to him. When we were in the university in those days, 2009-8, he was the Kokola Area Council chairman. And as he stands till now, what he did, nobody could be able to erase it. He's still on top. And, we also, we are the resident youth. We also have our colleagues from the indigenous youth groups. We have sat down together and do analysis. And that was why I started the conversation by saying some people say they are tired of a continuity of one person every 4 years coming again to say, and that person, when I now ask them, what do you want him to retire upon? There is no other place to go. If the government has came to say, okay, an indigenous person can be appointed as the federal cabinet, a minister, then I'm sure the likes of Aduda will opt for that. Or if you say, okay, you are bringing up a mayoral status for an indigenous of FCT, the likes of Aduda can. But if you say you don't want him again, where do you want him to go? Politics money, when you spend it 1, 2, 3 years, if you are not careful, it's gone because you are not seeing it the way you have been seeing it. That's why I say, if I hadn't been in FCT now, we have people, this is APC government. But if APC government has been, we have professionals, we have people with credible characters that have been in this party, APC, that are elder fathers, that will have gotten appointment, but they don't. If those people are in the maybe board member, they are ministerial, they are this, they are that, they will have been saving from their salary to say, okay, this month I'm sending 300,000 to Ubochi. Next month I'm sending 300,000 to Galui in Buhari. This other month I'm sending this another 100,000 to. Do you understand? For people who are in the real suburbs to better their life. And when election comes, such a person can even approach a bank and say, I am this. I have an integrity. I have this. Please give me some funds from the bank. Even if you go, will not encourage people to go there and siphon their money. But if it doesn't have, we can go to the bank and borrow and use that money vigorously to harness and canvass for votes. But they are handicapped. They can't. So that's why I said, what FCT people want is people who come and listen to their yearnings, their aspirations, what they want. If you go to some areas in FCT, the roads are still bad. There is no street lights. There's insecurity.
All right, Conrad, I'm quite aware of some of the challenges within the Federal Capital Territory. And as a youth, I'd like you to speak to this. Amongst the many candidates, we have some young persons, like from some parties that are not as popular as we might have thought about, like, for example, the senatorial candidate of the African Democratic Congress, Paul Smith Obasi. He's in his 30s and he's in this race, and he said he's there to win. I want to ask if there is a chance for such young people as the youth leader of youth, in the FCT. But we'll take the response to that right after this break. All right, let's take this quick break as this conversation is coming on. When we return, we'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back. This is Alive TV. All right, welcome back. The conversation is still on, talking about 2023 elections and how the residents of the FCT, the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, will vote. What will inform their voter choices in the 2023 elections. And I'm still in the studios with Ambassador Mukhtar, Akoshile Mukhtar, who is the President, Abuja Resident Association, and also the National Vice President of the National Youth Council of Nigeria. All right, Ambassador, you are going to speak to the fate or the possibility of a youth emerging as the senatorial candidate of the FCT in this election. What is the fate? What is the possibility of a youth emerging? I've mentioned that there are several candidates. We have Philip Aduda of the PDP, we have Ireti Kingibe of the Labour Party, we have Zad of the APC, we have Paul Smith Obasi of the African Democratic Congress. I think we also have Annie Rogbila of the ABGA party. So there are quite a number of them, but I think the ADC candidate happens to be the youngest. Is the FCT ready to have a youthful candidate like that?
Well, we are, and one of the things that will have gladdened our mind is to see someone who is within the age bracket of us to be our representative. But my constraint, as I said, is that they might not want to allow him or them get there. Number one. Number two, is the issue.
Sorry, before you talk about that, when you say they might not want to allow him, I'd like to know who are those?
Okay,
are you referring to the voters, or who are the people that might not want to allow him?
Okay, well, if not now that that's another topic, that the redesign of Naira has taken shape, that to me, I felt it would be extremely difficult for someone to come and use money to influence votes. You know, these are variables that I believe that might not allow young people who has interest to rule this country to get there, because the characters that you mentioned, as good as they have a good intention, as good as they are young and vibrant to hold those positions, even me, I hardly see any of them going into campaigns rather than to just go on social media to say I'm the flag bearer of this party, because they don't have the resources. Nigeria have not graduated from the stage whereby you can sit in your home and run your campaign. Rather, you need to go to some places physically, go and give them food stuff, go and give them money, go and share motorcycle, go and share pumping machine. Do you understand? But these people may not really have that kind of strength financially. And that is my constraint.
But you mentioned that we are in an age where...
And that has to do at the polling unit, not pre-election. Do you understand? They have to campaign before they get to where they can even use
yes,
money.
That's what I'm saying. Some of them have been going out, and to their fairness, I just want to know. I just want to know now. Many of them have been going out. I happen to maybe attend one or two of their events. I just want to know: is it possible? Because there is a candidate in the presidency now that is talking about we don't give shishi. And not giving shishi, the popularity continues to grow. Is it possible, that these people can also, through this, we don't give shishi, and they know. Some of them have even campaigned on the fact that I am young, I am vibrant, and I'm able to deliver governance. Check my track record. I did this when I was at this stage. I did this when I was at this stage. All of this, is it enough or is it not enough to get the voting public?
No, attention? It is. If you also go to our website and some of our activities, we have been advocating for our colleagues to make sure that one of the first things they should look after is age. Because we run not too young to run, we run so many advocacy for bringing young people into governance. But for me, I also believe in another way that eventually, if they could not allow those young people to get there, they should try and give us appointments. You understand?
I'm still concerned with allow, because when you say I'm concerned, because really when you say allow, I'm still thinking, okay,
maybe you have not got
to be an election. No, it's supposed to be an election, and all the candidates we go.
Okay, what are the ages of those that are contesting for this election? When I said I know what I'm saying, if you do a statistics of people who are running for presidency, what is their age bracket? How many are below 40? How many are above 60? Do you understand? And you and I knows that those that are contesting for president, it's either Asiwaju, Atiku, or Obi gets it. Are these people young? No. People, when you come to FCT, those who are contesting for Zenith, Zad, Aduda, do you understand? and Ireti is about the youngest among three of them. These are the prominent. So ADC candidate you mentioned, you understand, is younger, but it's not as popular as any of them. So when I am talking, I'm talking because I know that I'm talking on reality. I will not come here to say the guy is prominent or is close to winning or not. Me, I have only one photo, but I know that I have a forum and I have a platform to talk to other many Nigerians who are younger, and that is what we have been saying to them, that consider before you go out on that day. We will not come and go with you or tell you what to do at that moment. Campaign stops by Thursday. Yeah. That is the only time anybody can tell you, please vote for me. And we have been telling them. But beyond telling someone to also vote for a younger candidate, do you know if it's manifesto? Do you know what he wants to go there to do? There are some people who are younger and who are even, their mind is more even spoiled in when you talk about embezzlement. Well, because they believe national cake, let me go there and carry my own. So it's that kind of candidate that will sit down here and be talking for? No. So if before we now also think about in a small position. So we felt that with that position, he has not done enough.
Okay. All right, let's move away from there now and look at most recent issues in the country. You and me know you mentioned this in passing earlier, talking about the Naira swap policy and how this is going to impact on the 2023 elections. I'm aware that you are holding a rally tomorrow, but we talked about peace, peace rally for the 2023 elections. When we talk about peace, it perhaps means that there is trouble, there is chaos in the society. How does your rally tomorrow connect with the current situation in the country, and how will it affect the 2023 election that is meant to hold on Saturday?
You see, if anybody is talking about rally, in fact, there's some rally that one person will just go and carry your placard like this, and you are doing your own rally because they will check what is written and people will know. Someone like me will have been the first person to go outside. In fact, I did a press conference on that youth council to say we directed all our state chapters, all the 774 local government coordinators to embark on a one-week rally. But now in FCT is very fragile. We cannot toy with the peace of FCT and give it to the Minister of State and the PAMSEC of FCT. They are trying their best to make sure that the youth, the elderly swap and the design of Naira, the responsibility of the CBN, they have been doing it because they know that they have a responsibility on the residents of FCT. So when they call to say, youth, you want to do your own again. If you do, Nigeria will be, because if anybody turns his televisions in the night, in the evening, and see any headline, Abuja, that means they have confidence to do anything in their state. If they see that anything goes on in Abuja, you will know that this is where the whole battalion, 26th Battalion, 97th Battalion, Force Headquarters, military formations are. Jordan, so that's why we now went back, Abuja resident youth, and give ourselves some place and say, let's support government and let's support ourselves, because this is democracy. It's about you and I. There are some people who might feel that if the election did not hold, it is to their own credence, it is to their own advantage. But if the election did not hold, it is to our own disadvantage, because we are going backward to maybe 20 years behind. But if this election hold, no matter who gets it, after election, you are a president for everybody. After election, you are a governor for everybody. After election, you are a distinguished senator and House of Rep member for everybody, including those that supported you and those that did not support you. So why do we now say this must not hold? So we are trying to give a walk. About 1,000 young people will be on the street of Abuja tomorrow. We have a backing of the DSA, the police, the road safety, to make sure that the mount it does not be hijacked, and to say we want election. We are not saying vote for APC. We are not saying vote for PDP. We are not saying vote for Peter Obi or SDP or ADC. We are saying election must hold. After election, let the next people go and see how they can manage Nigeria. It seems that those who are there here are seeing that the exit is closer. Maybe their mind is getting off to say, let me just go and hand over to the, when you are in the football field, when you are tired, the referee sees that you are tired, you are not productive again, then it calls for substitution. So if they allow that person that is tired, he can collapse and die.
So if I get it, tomorrow's protest is a pro-government protest. It's a pro-election protest.
It's not pro-government, it's not anti-government. It's pro-citizens.
Okay.
It's for you and I, it's for ourselves.
So what would the residents of FCT be learning from that protest?
Thank you. To some government agencies or government itinerary, it's anti for them. Some people don't want this election to hold. So if you say it's pro-government, what about some part of government that does not want the election to hold? I don't know if it exists, and I don't know them. But some people might not want the election to hold. So, but what FCT resident tends to gain from that is that they are getting confirmations and reassurance from young people that there will be peace.
Okay, finally, before we go, because that protest or that rally, you call it, is tomorrow. The Supreme Court is also expected to deliver a judgment, regarding the Naira Swap policy and the government, and which the state governors, have also pushed forward to the Supreme Court tomorrow. So there is going to be a decision. Whichever way it turns out, how do you see the result? If perhaps it turns in favor of the governors, or it turns in favor of the Central Bank of Nigeria and federal government. If it turns out in favor of the governors, where do you see this protest and the entire preparation for the election going to? And if it turns out the other way, on the side of the government and the CBN, where do you see it going?
That's why I told you that this protest is about election. That we want peace, we want the election. If Supreme Court says otherwise, people will not go and say Supreme Court has delivered the judgment in error now. Nobody will say that. Everybody will just still murmur and still do what Supreme Court has. You can't challenge Supreme Court. But I stand, Mr. President are giving a directive. Today I went to bank, they give me 200 naira, 10,000 naira, I'll manage it. That is what everybody have been doing. Do you understand? It gives some more prudency. But on tomorrow's work, we call it peace work, is to say that let the global community, let Nigerians see that, let them learn from FCT, youth from FCT, that we don't want peace, we don't want protest. We want election to hold. Because the election time is too close to when all these policies are being rolled out. The policy might seem to be a good thing for you and I, but it is the timing is wrong, and the timing should not overlap election. Because if a Jega can, if a INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakub can come and say election we hold, and even the CBN governor that is the commander-in-chief of the policy say, for anything you need, we'll give it to you. I mean, they are ready. Security agents has came out to say, we are ready. I'm aware, I have information that as at today, they have started deployment to all
various sites. So, all right. Thank you so very much. I think that's a good way to end the conversation. It's been a wonderful conversation with you.
So much.
All right. Having on with the president, Abuja Resident Youth Association in Nigeria, Ambassador Akoshile Mukhtar, right here in the studio. We've been talking about preparations for the 2023 elections, how Abuja residents will actually go out there and perform or behave, or what will inform their voting choices on Saturday. Of course, we wish all Nigerians well, and we will continue to say from Alive Television that it is your responsibility to go out on Saturday peacefully and exercise your franchise and choose somebody whom you believe is able to steer the ship of this nation toward the right direction. Don't forget to vote right and not fight. Thank you so much for joining us on today's edition. I am Olubenga George. See you next time.
Hello and welcome to our live news update. I am Tante Oza. Here are the stories. Keyamo congratulates Buhari on ECOWAS Democracy Icon Award. The chief spokesman of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari on the award set to be conferred on him by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. ECOWAS is set to confer the Democracy Icon Award on President Muhammadu Buhari by the chairman of the regional bloc and president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Embalo. In a statement on Wednesday, presidential spokesman Garba Shehu said Buhari will have his name on the Roll of Honor in the ECOWAS new headquarters building upon its completion in Abuja. The ECOWAS chairman said Buhari had done more than any other to support democratic government in West Africa, just as he had done in waging battles against the emergence of non-democratic regimes. On the foreign story, Georgians protest over new law. Protesters in the small ex-Soviet state of Georgia threw petrol bombs and
from the north have an edge because they are from the north and following the Nigeria's voting patterns of always wanting to vote for somebody that is from their region or ethnic divide.
Okay, now
Hello and welcome to our live news update. I am Tante Oza. Here are the stories. Keyamo congratulates Buhari on ECOWAS Democracy Icon Award. The chief spokesman of the All Progressives Congress Presidential Campaign Council, Festus Keyamo, has congratulated President Muhammadu Buhari on the award set to be conferred on him by the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS. ECOWAS is set to confer the Democracy Icon Award on President Muhammadu Buhari by the chairman of the regional bloc and president of Guinea-Bissau, Umaru Embalo. In a statement on Wednesday, presidential spokesman Garba Shehu said Buhari will have his name on the Roll of Honor in the ECOWAS new headquarters building upon its completion in Abuja. The ECOWAS chairman said Buhari had done more than any other to support democratic government in West Africa, just as he had done in waging battles against the emergence of non-democratic regimes. On the foreign story, Georgians protest over new law. Protesters in the small ex-Soviet state of Georgia threw petrol bombs and stones at police on Tuesday night after Parliament gave its initial backing to a draft law on foreign agents, which critics say represents an authoritarian shift. Police in the center of the capital, Tbilisi, used water cannon and tear gas in attempting to disperse thousands of demonstrators. Georgian President Salome Zugabishvili, who wants to veto the law if it crosses her desk, said she was on the side of the protesters. Nobody needs this law. Everyone who has voted for this law has violated the Constitution, she said. In sports story, Nigerians D Tigers ranked best team in Africa. The World Basketball Governing Body, FIBA, has rated Nigerian basketball national team, D Tigers, as the best basketball team in Africa. The latest FIBA ranking came after the D Tigers failed to qualify for the 2023 FIBA World Cup, which will be hosted by the Philippines, Japan, and Indonesia. The D Tigers are the top basketball playing country in Africa and are presently ranked 19th in the world with 461.4 points, according to this recent FIBA rankings. Tunisia is rated second, Senegal is rated third, Angola is rated fourth best country in Africa. Ivory Coast, who qualified for the World Cup, is now rated sixth in Africa and 42nd internationally. In entertainment, Funke Akindele reacts to Ruth Kadri's endorsement. Nollywood actress cum politician Funke Akindele has extended gratitude to her colleague Ruth Kadri Ezurika after she publicly pledged to support her political bid as the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos. Funke received very little support from her colleagues since her emergence as the deputy governorship candidate of the People's Democratic Party in Lagos. Funke Akindele's colleagues have been politically divided over their support for preferred presidential and governorship candidates. However, Ruth Kadri threw her weight behind Jennifer's Diary producer. She listed her reasons for supporting Funke. noting that the latter is smart and hardworking. Thanks for watching. Do have a great day ahead.
Welcome to the show. Today, let's get into all the major sporting stories from across the globe. My name is Jordan, and as usual, we have a packed show for you today. And coming up, the red side of Manchester is in full party mode. Is Mohamed Salah leaving Liverpool? Chelsea's woes have continued over the weekend. Some local stories on the way and results of fixtures over the weekend in the English Premier League and loads more. Stay there for more details in a bit. Welcome back. It's Complete Sports on Alive TV. I am Jordan. Let's kick things off with some local stories. Flying Eagles quarterfinals opponents at the Under-20 AFCON in Egypt have been revealed. Now, the 7-time continental champions will lock horns with the East Africans after they finish as Group B winners. Now, the Nigeria's Flying Eagles will face the Ugandan Under-20 national team in the quarterfinals of the CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations ongoing in Egypt. The 7-time continental champions will lock horns with the East Africans after they finish as Group B winners. Now, Nigeria's Flying Eagles would face the Ugandans and the Under-20 national team in the quarterfinals of the CAF Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations currently ongoing in Egypt. And we wish the boys all the best. Hopefully they go out there and make the country proud. And our very own Victor Osimhen has gotten the highest rating away average in Napoli's win at Empoli. Now, the Victor Osimhen got the highest rating after helping title-chasing Napoli defeat Empoli 2-0 in Saturday's Serie A game. Now, Napoli picked up their 8th consecutive Serie A win, the 19th in their last 20 league games. And, of course, our boy Osimhen got Napoli's second goal by finding the net for the 8th consecutive Serie A game. And he also became the first player to do so since Cristiano Ronaldo in the 2019-2020 season. An absolutely massive feat. Now, the Super Eagles striker is on track to be the all-time record for most consecutive Serie A games with a goal, which is a record currently owned by Gabriel Batistuta, of course, the legend Fabio Quagliarella, and Cristiano Ronaldo at 11 goals. Now, Nigerians abroad are absolutely making us proud, putting the continent and the country, of course, on a global map. And Victor Osimhen has had such a fantastic season so far. He's been in the form of his life, and he continues to consolidate on that level of individual success, and he continues to be an integral part, of course, of Napoli's success this season. Congratulations to him, and we love to see him so high. Hopefully more wins under his belt, and we absolutely are sending him love and congrats. And that's it with some of the local stories. Up next, we've got fixtures over the weekend from the English Premier League. Some pretty shocking results, some exciting ones, and some pretty anticipated ones, or expected ones rather, all coming up next. Stay there. And welcome back. Let's get straight into results of fixtures over the weekend in the English Premier League. As we usually do, Everton and Aston Villa kick things off on Saturday. Everton yet again losing at home by 2-0. Aston Villa runaway victors on that particular game. Leeds 1, Southampton 0. Leicester City and Arsenal locked horns. Mikel Arteta's men continue to consolidate on that level of success, and they continue to stay at the summit of the English Premier League. 1-0, that game ended in favour of Arsenal. West Ham and Nottingham Forest played as well. It was a 4-0 hammering by the Hammers at home. Bournemouth, Manchester City played out a 4-1 result. Manchester City walking away with full 3 points on the road. An impressive display by Pep Guardiola's side. And Crystal Palace and Liverpool could not find the back of the net, played out a stalemate. And once again, Jurgen Klopp and Liverpool fans are finding themselves on the receiving ends of that bad mood. And on Sunday, it was a bit of a derby game. Tottenham Hotspur welcomed Chelsea, and 2-0 that game ended in favour of Tottenham Hotspur. Continues to rob Chelsea off the wrong way, of course, and it continues to add to their woes. Tottenham running away 2-0 victors on that particular one, and they even more impressively did it in the absence of their manager. And that's it with the results over the weekend. When we come back, we get straight into the stories making waves in the foreign scene. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to Complete Sports. Let's straight places with the foreign scenes right now and check out some of the biggest happenings from over there. Manchester United have finally ended their trophy wait at Wembley. Man United defeated Everton over the weekend, much to Erik ten Hag's impressive season so far and much to the delight of Manchester United fans. Erik ten Hag's side won the Carabao Cup to end a 6-year trophy drought, and it's reported that the highlights were absolutely fantastic. And Newcastle at the Wembley as Erik ten Hag's team ended their 6-year trophy drought by beating the Magpies 2-0 on Sunday. Casemiro scored the opener for Erik ten Hag's side at Wembley, and they doubled their lead before the break via a Sven Botman own goal. It is their very first piece of silverware since they won the Europa League under Jose Mourinho in 2017, and it could be the first trophy of a potential quadruple as well, with United still in the FA Cup, Europa League, and still having an outside shot of winning the Premier League as well. Newcastle were bright in the early stages, but it was Manchester United who took control on the 33rd minute as Casemiro rose to head home from Luke Shaw's free kick. There was a VAR check, by the way, but the Brazilian was ruled to be narrowly onside. 6 minutes later, the lead was doubled as the man in form and the man of the moment, of course, Marcus Rashford, combined brilliantly with Wout Weghorst before driving into the box and seeing his shots deflect off of Botman before evading Loris Karius in the Newcastle goal. Eddie Howe threw on Alexander Isak at halftime to try and turn the tide, but Newcastle could not break down the stubborn and resilient red wall as Manchester United saw out the win. Complete party mood in the red side of Manchester. And it's a completely contrasting mood at the Stamford Bridge. Chelsea's woes have continued. They lost 2-0 at Tottenham to continue their wretched form under Graham Potter, and the Blues have won just one of their last 11 games in all competitions, scoring just 4 goals in that time. Chelsea now closer to bottom 3 than top 4 after first defeat to Spurs in 9 Premier League meetings, as the only club to hold a 100% record when facing Spurs at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in the Premier League. Now, Sunday's trip to the North London for Chelsea felt like it represented a pivotal moment for Graham Potter. Help his team to maintain that impressive record at the home of their rivals, and the manager would go a long way to relieving the pressure upon his shoulders, not to mention winning over the fans who called for his departure after this dispiriting defeat at home to Southampton last weekend. But at the same time, it felt like a defeat coupled with another performance lacking in